68-year-old Dr. Jeffrey Joel Abrams admitted to sexually assaulting female patients in his exam room and taking photos of their naked bodies. He pleaded guilty to 8 counts of sexual penetration of an unconscious person, 3 counts of sexual battery, and 1 count of possession of child porn, that is, involving pictures of an 8-year-old girl. He will serve 1 year on house arrest and 5 years probation. He faced a maximum of 25 years in prison. A pre-sentencing report recommended 20 years, and he received 0 years, 1 year of house arrest, 5 years of probation, and he will be required to register as a sex offender. Now, his lawyer, Alex Landon, said, listen, my client is of advanced age. He is willing to plead guilty very early on here. This will prevent the victims from having to testify. He has serious medical problems, and he shouldn't go to prison. He has complications from cancer surgery, including 2 life-threatening surgical wounds that are still not healed. He is at low risk of reoffending based on psychological tests. And even the prosecutor did not challenge the arguments of his defense attorney. The judge agreed to the deal worked out by the deputy district attorney and the defense attorney, and they said that Abrams has to give up his medical license, must register as a sex offender. And the reality is that these medical conditions he has as a result of kidney cancer treatment are a factor. So there is widespread outrage in many cases, Lewis, in regards to this sentence. People saying, listen, you're talking here about a guy who's 68. That's not really advanced age, particularly in 2015. And the idea that 8 counts, 8 rapes, and he serves not a day in prison because his wounds have to be cleaned is absolutely bogus. Then there's other people, Lewis, who are coming back and saying, we have a serious problem with incarceration in this country. Here is someone who has been evaluated to be at low risk of reoffending. Why are we going to tie up the prison system with someone who is going to be very expensive based on the medical care they require when he is unlikely to ever reoffend based on psychological tests? So people very adamant on both sides of this.
Yeah, well, like we talked about, what is the point of jailing someone? What is the point of our justice system? Is it to keep us safe and make sure that people who might commit some type of wrongdoing are unable to do so? Or is it to punish those who have committed a crime?
Is it revenge also?
Yeah. So I think it is clear. I'll agree with the defense that he probably is no longer capable of hurting anyone. But here we have someone with no morals and who I think overall is a dangerous person. I don't think he's very old, and I think he should be in prison. And although it would be more expensive than your usual, criminal, I really don't care about that.
I understand what you're saying. I understand the reasoning. I understand the reasoning also for why he shouldn't be in prison. The problem I have, what I'm really struggling with, is that this is part of a very unfair justice system. If a black 22-year-old who smokes pot got arrested for raping 8 unconscious women, would he also get house arrest, medical condition included in the sort of general picture? I don't think so. I don't think that it would be the same sentence. And the other issue is we have these mandatory minimums that force people with tiny amounts of fairly benign drugs to be in jail for decades, prison for decades. And here we have someone who is going to get house arrest for a year for rape and possession of child porn. It feels very unfair, even if I sympathize with the specifics here.
Yeah, and I think we have someone here who could still easily prey on children. This is someone who should be in prison, and I think it's just preferential treatment of a wealthy white person here.
But so you don't think that it's legitimate to say, listen, he's got to clean these unhealed, very serious, life-threatening surgical wounds twice a day. This guy can barely leave his house. He's not going to damage, he's not going to hurt anybody. You don't buy that?
You know what? Wounds heal. He could spend a week at home, 2 weeks at home, 3, even 4, and then serve the prison time. Also, this is something that can be taken care of in prison. So I don't see that as a valid excuse.
All right. Who do you agree with on this case of a man who pleads guilty to raping 8 women while unconscious, presumably under his care as a medical doctor? Send me your thoughts. We'll take a break. We will talk about Donald Trump and Jeb Bush's tax plans after the break.